fuck up.
Welcome to the show that nobody asked for. We're here again.
Yeah, except to be anti-racist, you have to deny reality. Like, they consider it racist when I say things like black men are 6% of the population, yet are responsible for a little under half the violent crime. And I'm talking the really violent crime. Yeah, don't blame me for the numbers. It's not racist to bring up facts. Again, it's not racist if it's true.
We are, you guys. We're here.
Okay,
time,
to
but we
be fair, this was recorded 4 years ago. So I'm going to try to keep it in the realm of when it was recorded. But we all know what happened with Black Lives Matter. They are now less than relevant. It was exposed as just a money laundering scam. It didn't help one single black person except the two big fat lesbians that founded it. No, the black men that commit these violent crimes are less than 0.1% of the black population in America. But however, numbers 99.9995% of black men work an honest job or make an honest living, and all they want to do is make their money, go to the liquor store, buy beer, go home to their families, get drunk, fall asleep, do the whole son of a bitch over the next day. No, that's the conviction rate.
It was only reflected at a college party. My mom's here.
Oh, God. Is it going to be 20? Ah, fuck. I got 21 minutes left of this shit.
Put your pants down. My mom's here. So we have like one topic today, just one that we wanted to talk about. And we just needed to acknowledge up front that...
Yeah, this would be the height of the St. Fentanyl or St. Floyd of fentanyl thing. And God, I can't wait for that bastard to be fucking forgotten.
There's something a little bit weird. I know weird is the wrong word, but just like we just have to acknowledge we're two white ladies talking about Black Lives Matter. And
I don't think it's, yeah.
Black Lives Matter then was a money-making scam. Black Lives Matter now, well, less than relevant, if not dead, money-making scam.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's important.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, what I was saying is like, I just like, we're not the experts to be talking about this, but Jamie and I were having long conversations.
Oh, yes. God forbid you talk about something. God forbid you talk about something by virtue of your race. That is a racist statement, you dried up old bitch.
About how it's impacting us and how we feel, and, you know, like, how awful this is for everyone, and we're all sitting in this, and we were like, we have to talk about this and come from a place of where we are. You know, my wife Mary was in a training or a conversation yesterday, and somebody asked the question of like, what can we do in social media? Like, should we be talking about this? Shouldn't we, as white people? And the woman said, you should be genuine and come from where you're coming from. And
okay, I'll be genuine and come where I'm coming from. Black Lives Matter was full of shit then, it's full of shit now.
Jamie and I have been talking a lot about that over the last 2 days, and where we're coming from is, how can we be better parents? How can we teach our children in this time? And how can we be genuine and speak from our heart?
Yeah, it's also, and I think that we might not be experts when it comes to the Black experience, but we
Granger, you're going to be crying in a week.
Experts on accountability for our own selves. So that's something that we can delve into. We can do our best to take total accountability for the work we do to be anti-racist.
Anytime anybody says the work, they're not doing shit. You want to know how to be anti-racist? Treat everyone the exact same, like I do. If you look me in the eye and shake my hand, and you look me in the eye when you talk to me, and you generally keep your word, I'm going to assume you're a good dude. Your skin color means nothing. Hell, I value more, I get a more off vibe if you have a weak-ass handshake. Which, by the way, men, what the fuck? Why is every single guy in their 20s handshake so fucking weak? Guys, squeeze that shit. That throws me off far more than the skin color of, or the ethnicity of the guy that I'm meeting.
Now, going forward, should have done more in the past. at least I can speak for myself. I should have done more in the past, but now the fire is ignited, and we cannot let this.
Oh, I should have done more in the past. I should have. You did in the past exactly what you did during this podcast and on all the days since said podcast. Nothing. Do you think this podcast meant a goddamn thing to anyone? Oh, yeah. No, it didn't. Oh, poop. Shit. Ah, fuck it.
The work.
How can we be allies? Like, you know, and by the way,
Doing the work. Anytime anybody says that, you know they're not doing any actual work.
while we have this conversation, Jamie's going to be playing some information from, or like a voice memo from somebody that a friend of hers. She also has some resources and
I haven't watched the rebooted RoboCop, but I'll say RoboCop 1, $1, RoboCop 2, $1.50. RoboCop 3 is dog shit. It's not worth anything.
I gotta say, yesterday was like a really, really, really rough day for me. I don't know, like it all just got to me yesterday. It was hard. Yesterday was a hard day, and I didn't understand why I was so down. And I really think it's that we're in this
because you're hanging out too much with race pimps and race grifters.
Pandemic time, so things are all at the forefront.
Yeah, the pandemic was a lie. It wasn't a pandemic. It was a flu, and it was endemic, not pandemic. Okay, COVID was never that bad. Stop. Here's another way to make your life better. Stop listening to anything the mainstream media has to say to you. A million Americans did not die from COVID. A million Americans died from other things, but they happened to have COVID. And if COVID was the factor in their death, generally they were either severely immunocompromised or B, in their fucking 80s and 90s. Old people die. It's kind of their thing.
And you can't escape thinking about the things that are happening, and they're everywhere you look. And this is... if this is in any tiny teensy bit of the way Black people have felt for generations, it's
no, they actually didn't feel this way till recently when all this stupid crap came up. And oh, by the way, Barack Obama did nothing to help it. If I had a son, he'd be like Trayvon. Oh, you mean a fucking guy that decided to fight a death match over nothing? And that's what the George Zimmerman thing was when it came to Trayvon, at least. I'm not saying Zimmerman was innocent in that. He's certainly a violent person. But at some point, both men agreed to combat.
I woke up, so I heard chanting, and I ran over to the window. I called Mary over, and there was a brigade of police lined in front of our apartment and across the street, and then protesters. And I was so scared.
Yeah, except you're allowed to peaceably assemble. You're not allowed to chant shit in the middle of the night. Yeah, that whole shouting at midnight, no justice, no peace, shut the fuck up. Here's a thought, here's what I would tell all those protesters. Maybe, just maybe, instead of worrying about some fucking drug addict that died, worry about making money, and maybe your life will be a lot fucking better.
I was like, I was scared.
But a lot of people are so ensconced in this victim mentality or this mentality that no matter what, they're never going to get ahead. They never get fucking ahead.
Stray bullets. I was scared of the energy and what was happening down there, and I was afraid I was going to see something I couldn't unsee. And it's just, and like you just said, like, that's just me, like a white lady with privilege, like how everyone else has been feeling.
How the fuck do you have privilege? Can you name one right or privilege under the law that any Asian, Black, Latino, or any other fucking color under the fucking rainbow has that you don't? And by the way, these two lovely ladies are making a great case for why we need to repeal the goddamn 19th.
I don't know how people have been doing it.
The answer to your question, madam, is nobody has privilege. Nobody has an unearned advantage over anyone else, and you certainly don't have one because of your fucking skin color. You might have a slight advantage in certain areas because you happen to have a vagina, but hey, what the fuck?
Robin and I have been talking about dealing with parenting your kids and teaching them to be anti-racist. That's a great place for us to come from as a parenting podcast.
Here's how to be anti-racist. And you're going to hate this to dried up white bitches. You just don't fucking see skin color. I treat everyone the exact same. Again, when I meet someone for the first time, I'm judging them more on, do they look me in the eye when they're talking to me? Do they have a good firm handshake? And do they mean what they say? If I go to dinner with someone and let's say we're potentially going to collab on something or something of that nature, or I take a new person out to lunch, I look at how they treat the server. Okay? Because again, that's for at least me, that's a great measuring stick, because I know if I ever got a job being a waiter, I'd be fired before the first shift was over. Because I would eventually lose my temper. No, I don't call every black woman ratchet. I call the ones that act like ratchet ghetto bitches. It's their behavior that I am calling out. Same thing, a trash white lady, trailer park trash.
It's never too early to talk to your kids about racism. And a list of all these different resources. If you go on our feed, you'll find.
Jesus Christ, thank God I went to school in the 90s and we didn't have all this woke bullshit. I actually got an education. By the way, sorry, Dr. King, your dream died. I don't know how. It seemed to be going great for a while, but lefties fucked it all up.
A bunch of resources you can use to educate your kids on racism. And my organization I work for, the White Accountability Group, and we've been having a lot of emails.
Oh my God. Could you imagine joining something called the White Accountability Group? Oh my God.
One of my coworkers, Elizabeth, compiled this crazy long list of resources to better become an anti-racist. A million resources, things to think.
Yeah, once again, the whole message I'm getting with this is black people are infants. They have the emotional maturity of infants. So we have to treat them differently than we treat white people. So I have to treat a black man as like this emotionally fragile toddler. Why can't I just treat him as a man? I mean, I thought that's the point. Like Morgan Freeman's great quote. How to end racism. Stop talking about it. Stop calling me a black man. I'll stop calling you a white man. Which is a really good idea. How about we just call each other men?
Actions to take, books to read, all kinds of stuff. But here's this one. This is from...
Bitch, you not have a room in your house where there's a lock on the door?
God bless you for just rolling right through that while your kids are coming in and jumping on the bed and then gonna like that's a mom right there.
I'm sweating now because I was stressed out.
Oh, God. Then feed your kids Xanax.
So I'm going to share this research. It's books for every age group that deal with anti-racism and race and racism and all that stuff. So I'm going to share it.
Yay, Jamie shared it.
So you are lesbians or?
So angry and why their outrage and their, like what's happening is justified. And so we started talking about it in the car and we told them about George Floyd. And that was a very hard conversation. And my son started crying and he just kept saying, why would someone do that? And
because George Floyd chose to be a multi-time felon, decided to ingest half a pound of meth. And look, Derek Chauvin might have been incredibly reckless in his actions, but, it is what it is. George was dead anyway.
Today our school shut down in a day for reflection. And so
Your school shut down for a day? Jesus Christ, in the 92 riots, we didn't shut down schools. What pussy? No wonder kids are pussies these days.
Told the kids they weren't supposed to do any work. So we said, but we wanted them to get up and to write something about their feelings. Like we've talked a lot about our privilege since then around the dinner table. How privileged we are and how different it is than for a lot of people. And so they each wrote something today.
George Floyd was dying of a drug overdose. I will say, I will agree, Derek Chauvin was reckless. But I'm not pinning all of George Floyd's death on him.
And we started talking about like, what would it be like for you if you were the only Black person in a classroom, or in a town? And I said, where I grew up, there was one Black family. And what would that be like? So when you feel different, I said, but imagine like.
And what if it's the reverse and there's one white kid in a school full of all blacks? Which does happen from time to time. As for you having two moms, whatever, it's the 20 whatevers. Nobody cares about that anymore. The only time that might come up is when your boys get older and they're having their friends over and you happen to kiss your wife. Hey, I'm sorry.
As a Black person, you can't hide the fact that you have moms, your skin color. Everyone knows. And that, like, so we've been.
Well, if your son is hiding that fact, then he's a coward. And again, this is why boys, especially boys, need men in their lives.
Having these like ongoing conversations, drawing parallels to being LGBTQ, but also making sure they understand that what we go through is still nothing compared to what they do. And so
I'm looking for any resources I can find right now to make sure I'm raising a conscious, woke.
Oh, God, you're trying to... Okay, raising a woke child should be considered fucking child abuse. Because woke ideology dies on the altar of common sense.
No, and by the way, the first thing you talk to your children about is not saying woke, Jamie.
Don't say woke. I like the word woke. Woke
no.
AF. Woke AF.
No.
Anyway,
while we're having this serious conversation,
I have a really close friend who's Black, and years ago, I met her on the ship. So we have a very small little group from the ship that are still really close. And she's in this little group. Years ago on the ship, she had to distance from us. She had, like, I think something happened in the news, and this is...
And I'm progressive. I show women kissing other women. All right.
Set by it, and she felt so alone. We're all white, she's Black. We had a conversation. She said, guys, I love you, but I need time. And on a ship, it's really hard to take time away from people. But she took time away from us. She took at least a week away from us. She couldn't talk to us. And we did our best to understand her.
So she's being a racist cunt. You know, if some white guy gets blown away by some Black dude, I don't immediately go to every Black person I know and go, I need a week away. I need a week away from you, man. No, it had nothing to do with us.
And that just happened again. She reached out to us and she sent this voice memo explaining why she feels like she needs to distance from white folks right now a little bit. So I want to play it for you guys. It was long. I've had to truncate it a bit. It's a little over 3 minutes. So I would love it if you guys all listen and then we can talk about it. But she had some,
okay.
What?
No, go ahead. I was going to say we could play it on the way out, but you play it now. Whatever you want to do is great.
Let's play it.
Okay.
All right, here it is.
It's a very weird time. All of my white friends
I don't know. My boss is Black. Does that count?
Reaching out to me, and as it's overwhelming is like I know I keep using that word, but the feelings are both of sadness and, well, not even both. It's sadness and anger, but it's also like,
God, please,
like
and
relief, but more anger, because it's like, well, why does it, not specifically you guys, but like, why is it taking now for everyone to like finally be like, yeah, no, shit, this is fucked up now. And at the same time, I get it. It's like everyone's in their house. They're sitting with their own guilt. There's no distractions. There's nowhere to go. It's not like you see it now, or you only see, you can't like not, you're forced to see it. And everyone's forced to deal with everything right now. This is one of the major things that everyone is just kind of forced to deal with right now. And so I get it. And I guess, grateful, thankful, whatever for it. It sucks, but this is how all shit like this happens. Everyone has to get to their bottom, to their this is my last straw, and like this is the last straw for a lot of people. It's just a really weird thing to be like at the same time like, welcome, but like angry, but like.
Yeah, and the next day, how many Black men were killed by other Black men? The day after, St. Floyd of fentanyl was killed by Derek Chauvin. I'll entertain the ruse for a minute. The next day, and the day after, how many black men were killed by other black men? 30? Where was Black Lives Matter for that? Where was Black Lives Matter for the little 3-year-old girl just going to get Wendy's with her grandma? And I think her mom was also in the car. 2 rival gangs started shooting at one another, and she got killed in the crossfire. Not a fucking peep from Black Lives Matter. No, Black Lives only matter when it's a white cop and a black person who is most likely a guilty of sin, resisting arrest, piece of shit. And what the fuck do you expect? So yeah, fuck you. Until you're gonna give the same tears to the I don't know how many number of dead black gang members we have every year all over the country. I don't even know the number. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Quit fucking crying about the 100 or so black people a year that get killed by police across the country. By the way, 95 of them are actively shooting a gun at the cops.
Like trying not to be angry because you can't force anyone to see anything before they're able to see it. So I think in terms of like what you could do is I really just urge you as much as you can, like after today and moving forward for like forevermore. I mean, talk about it, post about it, bring it up in like it's part of a record.
And of the 5 that are questionable, most of the time they were going for the cop's gun, which, yeah, big shock, might lead to a death sentence. You don't want to get tased? You don't want to get shot? You don't want to get hit in the head with a fucking flashlight? Don't resist arrest. Simple.
Conversation so that it can stop being this thing that we like only talk about when something really, really terrible has happened, or it's like taboo to talk about, or if we could just fucking normalize it, right? So that we could be like, no, this shit is not okay, and everyone could agree that it's not okay, and we talk about it enough that like it really.
It's like Jericho Green. He posted a video. He's like, I got pulled over. I'm still alive. Cop pulled him over, rolled down the window. He said, license and registration, please. Took a look at it, handed it right back. Said, do you know why I pulled you over? Jericho said, no, I don't. He said, well, you didn't actually signal at the stop sign there, but you slowed down for it. It's like, and he's like, turn your, blinker on, whatever it was, left or right. Sir, you have a burnout taillight. Thank you. Get it fixed. Thank you. Have a nice day, sir. Cop walks back. Jericho goes home. That's it. He didn't need to launch. The cop wasn't pulling him over because he was black. He was pulling him over because he had a busted taillight. No, he stopped, but he didn't signal. He had a faulty light. Raptor Blue, because you keep spamming this question, I will very slowly explain to you this one time. This is the last time that I am stopping the broadcast for something in the chat, so chat whatever you want. Black men are 6% of the population. Black people as a whole make up 13% of the population. Black people are responsible for over half the violent crime. It's about 52. Of that, the 6% black men, and it's actually less, because, yeah, you have to throw in the senior citizens and the babies. Basically, let's say 4 million are committing half the violent felonies. But of that 4 million, only probably 0.0001% are actually doing any crimes. The other 99.999% whatever are just tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. But it's really ridiculous that an extreme minority within a minority is so vastly overrepresented in shit. 0.0001 or 01 or 001 or what the fuck ever it is. I don't care. That's it. That's the last I'm going to speak on this. No, they are conviction rates. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is a thing of the black community. They are way more conservative about shit like that than white people are, than white liberals are. See, black people vote Democrat for whatever fucking reason, but they don't agree with half the shit they say. That's why it was, what was it, Prop 8 in California? Basically, in California, thanks to the black and Latino vote, California outlawed same-sex marriage. In California, the bluest of the blue states. Because, like it or not, Latino and blacks are way more religious than white people. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. These are just numbers. These are just statistics. I'm sorry, but there's a reason why, fucking a black atheist is as rare as a white tiger.
So whatever, because they kept saying the word fat. And I was like, hey, this shit is ridiculous, and stop. And it was a whole thing, and my aunt didn't talk to me for a bunch of months and all this stuff. But I did it because I was just like, that shit was important to me. I went to a fucking performing arts high school. All of my goddamn friends were gay. So, it wasn't a thing.
Oh, God.
How much longer do I gotta do this? I'm sorry this message is so long. But I just, it wasn't something that I was going to allow to keep going anymore. And ever since then, not that I think that any of your parents are going around saying, nigger or anything like that at Thanksgiving, but, you know what you know.
Oh, what? You stood up to his aunties? They may accept him because they love their nephew. But do you think he's going to be able to bring his boyfriend around to the table? Also, what happens if it's at their house? Then they set the rules. Sorry.
You know what you know. And you are all very smart. You know the ways that you can, effectively cause change or cause whatever way that makes sense. Because y'all know that also I'm drunk. So I know that mostly I'm okay. I just needed some time. And I do love you guys. That's the most important thing.
So that's Allison. I asked her.
Again, that's...
Yeah, I asked her if I could share that, and she said, yes, please do. And she says, keep this conversation going. And she did want me to stress that...
Well, it seems the black community went to hell when it became mom and aunties running shit instead of dads and uncles.
The most important thing is to not just talk about this, but you need to take action. White people need to take action, and we need to keep it up and don't let it die when these things die down.
Yeah.
So,
and AJ's saying that the Amy Cooper, Christian Cooper situation is also very important because that could have led to another George Floyd moment. And it's important to note that she's a liberal because bias is not only from the MAGA camp, as many would like to think. And that's very true. It's very true.
I think it's just important for us to take accountability.
Hi to my sister.
I can't.
Yes, we all do need to take accountability, and we just...
No, I'm not taking accountability for shit that I didn't do. I'll take accountability for shit that I did. But I'm not taking accountability for every fucking white person on the planet. Are there racist white people out there? Yes. There's roughly about 3,000 to 5,000 members of the KKK. We can't get accurate numbers anymore because the FBI declares them so relevant they don't even bother to check them out anymore. All it is a bunch of fucking drunk, inbred hillbillies that just like to burn crosses for whatever reasons. This whole idea of white supremacy as an institution is literally a more fanciful legend than the goddamn Handmaid's Tale, and that's a pretty bad piece of fiction.
It's like
if you actually read the premise of the Handmaid's Tale, it has not one, not two, but three absolutely ridiculous, narrative-breaking, suspension of disbelief breaking premises.
I think it's also important to note that there would be, it's Pride Month right now, but there would be no Pride if Black folks hadn't rioted with us, and they were the ones who started it, man.
You just admitted to a crime, you dumb, stupid, fucking idiot bitch. Riot is a crime. Peaceful protest is not. You literally just admitted to a fucking crime. All right, officers, do your duty.
In many ways, and trans people are still getting targeted.
How the fuck did this turn to trans people? Nobody is targeting trans people. If we as a society were targeting trans people wouldn't be a thing in 15 fucking minutes. Oh my god. And no, riots are not the language of the unheard. Fuck you.
a young trans person died like last week, Tony McDade.
Yeah, gee, it's almost like the suicide rate is unbelievably high, both pre and post-op, because, again, you can't actually change your gender. You are still the gender you were born as. And you're either male or you're either female. Fuck off and fuck you.
And it didn't even get much media, didn't get much attention in the news because this person was trans. So,
Yep.
Okay, in this instance, what MLK said was wrong. He still said a lot of good shit. I don't have to agree, unlike you leftists, I don't have to agree with 100% of what people say. Again, according to your own philosophies regarding racism, Gandhi would be canceled. Gandhi was 100% a racist. He hated, with a capital H, black people. And you can read it in his own writings at the newspaper, for which he was either A, an owner, or B, the editor-in-chief. Meaning he decided what was in the paper, and these are articles he wrote him goddamn self.
we have to acknowledge, so it is Pride Month, it's a month to celebrate, but we need to acknowledge all these people who fought and are still fighting for equality and do not have it.
I am a real American. Fight for your rights, blah, blah, blah. What rights do trans people have that, yeah, we're not going to let men compete against women in sports. Sorry, men have an advantage. Okay? But outside of that, it seemed we've been over fucking backwards for way less than 1% of the population. I'm sorry about this whole disability thing. We have to change everything for some fucker in a wheelchair. Sorry. What percentage of the population is in wheelchairs in the United States? What, 2, 3%? Why do we have to change everything?
I think we need to get back to our roots of what Pride, the last few years, Pride has just been this commercialized, like all of the politicians walking by, there's the Starbucks float. And we need to get back to the roots of fighting a little bit. It's time. So we just want to say thank you to everyone.
Now me, I personally, if I set up a business, I would try to have the wheelchair people in there. Their money is as green as everyone else's.
Everybody for dropping in for this and for being here with us. It's, we just felt like we had to speak up. It's like, this is where we're starting, and that's what we can do.
But I also think that a restaurant that's been there for 200 years shouldn't have to completely redesign its building because some jackass in a wheelchair cries that he can't eat there. Hell, I'll carry you in myself. Throw you over my shoulder, strap you into the chair, and we can have a nice meal.
And I think it's important to note that as white people, we can't be afraid to get messy with these conversations because that's where growth happens. When sometimes you slip up and you say the wrong thing and you have white friends or black friends or brown friends, any kind of friends that are going to hold you accountable. And
God, I don't have black friends like this. All right, I should go to the end. We only got 2.5. How much you want to bet none of these bitches come within 50 yards of a single black person in their life, in their day-to-day lives?
We made some mistakes, and we just tried to clean it up. You know what I mean? We just, don't draw attention to it. Don't make the other person feel like it's some horrible thing. It's like, if you use the wrong pronoun, just go, oh, I'm sorry, he, and then keep it moving. Like, it doesn't need to be some big thing. You know? And
again, somehow it all goes back to trans. How?
You know?
Oh my God, Elizabeth is here. My encyclopedia. She's here. She recommends the life and death of Marsha P. Johnson, the transgender activist who led during Stonewall. Of course, Elizabeth knows this. Of course.
Of course she does, Elizabeth. Yeah.
It's a documentary on Netflix. I haven't watched it, Elizabeth.
Great, and she looks like she's in a relationship with a beta soy boy that jerks off while her real man fucks her in the ass.
I'm gonna watch it. She knows everything.
Thank you all for sticking around for this conversation. I'm glad that we were able to do this. Oh yeah.
There's also this.
All right, we'll have to reschedule. No, I'm not talking to Daggerish. We'll reschedule.
I bought this one, and it's actually a really good buy. It's really straightforward. It's good for my 6-year-old. She gets it. It's easy. She can even read it. And it's just really like...
Oh, thank God I was not raised by this woman. No wonder, Haven, I agreed to debate you, and you alone. I'll wait till you're well.
Truth.
Mom truths. Well,
Truth.
thank you everyone so much for coming by. We'll be back on Friday, and we will be back to our happy hour brand, because that is also important.
Oh, yes, of course. A bunch of middle-aged women needing alcohol in the middle of the day. You know, I'm probably going to be the biggest hypocrite in the history of the universe, but what the fuck are you doing drinking around small children and drinking alcohol while you have to care for small children? Not saying anything, just saying. Well, Daggerish, I would debate you, but you're a disingenuous piece of shit. So I'm not going to bother. Alright. I'm going to forgo the last 22 seconds of this. Say I earned my money. Right now, Anna is hotter than you. I remember in the days you were hotter than her. Alright, depends on how angry I want to get. Alright, we'll do this from that vegan teacher. She's pissed off with Crayola because they have animal fat in their crayons. Well, no shit they do. The crayons are edible!
Check this out, Chris.
It will be shocking for some people to know that creating crayons requires the usage of animal fat.
Animal fat?
Crayola crayons are not vegan?
Crayola crayons are not vegan?
Yeah, no shit! And for a very good fucking reason!
Animal fat?
Not vegan?
Animal fat?
Crayola, you should be vegan. Make your markers vegan.
They can't!
You know what to do.
Alright, you dumb old dried up fucking cunt! Do you know what would be required? There are vegan crayons out there, actually already on the market. Except one big problem. The crayons, my dear, are oil-based. So you can't give them to small children who might eat them. If they eat the Crayola crayons, they'll get a bellyache, but they won't die. If they eat the oil-based crayons, they will. Good job, bitch. I'm starting to maybe agree with the fucking Muslims. Keep the fucking women silent. Don't let them leave the fucking house. Alright, how is the surf times? Oh, it's from the David Pakman Show, excuse me. So, this is from the David Pakman Show.
It's time. We must discuss the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump. This may be one of the worst interviews of a political figure in history, at least.
Really? Is that why it has... Where is it? This is... I'm not going to play it because I've got the yellow triangle of doom. Over 38 million views! Let's see if it's gotten up to... Let's just see. Okay, 38 million views! 1.9 million upvotes, 41,000 downvotes, viewed 38 million times. Yeah, I don't think this is the worst. And in fact, this is going to be the future of presidential campaigns. They're going to have to go on podcasts. And they're going to have to deal with the podcast rules. Meaning, I guarantee you, in 2028... both candidates will be on Joe Rogan at least once. And they better be able to do it, because Donald Trump could handle him. Kamala Harris can't.
It was bad for a number of reasons. It was bad because Donald Trump lied his way through it, telling hundreds.
No, it was bad because... No, if Trump had lied, Joe Rogan would have checked him. It was bad because it made Donald Trump look far stronger than Kamala Harris. Meaning your side loses, pedo stash.
Hundreds of verifiable lies, confirming his cognitive decline with some completely fabricated memories. But it was also bad to a degree because Joe Rogan was either unprepared or unwilling to challenge the endless lies. Now,
except you're the party of, when I say the sky is blue, you say no, it's red. And I hate to end this here, but that's about all I got. I'm starting to get tired, so that's where I'm going to end this one. Good night, everybody.